I would like to say hello and my appreciation from the World Association of Citizens from letting me participating in this event. The problems of the environmentalists in Iran. Unfortunately, Iran has faced many environmental crises over the past few years. From the drought and water shortage until the destruction of forests, lakes, and wetlands. All of these problems return to lack
We go to channel 2 then, okay? Sorry.
All of these problems return to lack of the management and corruption internalized in the Islamic Republic of Iran. In the last decades in Iran, the suppression and harassment of the civil society activists in all areas had become a trend. At the beginning, it was the political groups, then social activists, human rights activists, writers, then women rights activists and activists of the rights of child, then those humanitarian helpers who help the victims of earthquake. And now it's the turn of environmental activists. All activities and efforts of environmental community which are for informing the public about the environmental crisis such as water crisis and climate changes destroying biodiversity and other biological and environmental problems have been named as espionage, especially by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The wave of the harassment of environmental activists began in January with the arrest of Dr. Said Emami, a professor and director of the Persian Heritage Wildlife Foundation, and 13 other environmental activists by the Security Service of the Revolutionary Guard Corps. Less than a month after arrest, the family was informed that Mr. Emami has committed suicide and died. In May this year, the arbitrary mass arrests by the Revolutionary Guards had continued, and 42 of these activists and foresters from Hormozgan province have been arrested without any information published about their place of detention or the authority which is responsible for their arrest. From the other hand, the judiciary of Iran had announced that the accusation of Mr. Emami and his colleagues were espionage. Judiciary said they showed that they are making photos of the Iranian Leopard, but they were photographing thief military bases and gave this information to foreign intelligence services. It is clear that I want to mention to arrest some of the environmentalists in Iran. Those are Human Jokar, Amin Hossein Khalaqi, Samar Rajabi, Tariq Adirian, Nilufar Bayani, Sepide Kashani, Murad Tahbaz, and Abdulreza Kupaye, that he is still being not having any lawyer. But what's the reason of this pressure on the environmentalist activists? maybe we can express in this way that all these pressures and security are due to the resistance of these activists in the lot of many demands of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and their invasion of protected areas. Protected area under UN supervision and subject to the rules of the historic heritage sites, and even during the wartime they include safeguards. It said the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, they want to put their equipment there. And it seems the environmentalists are just against this propaganda and bringing the Revolutionary Guard to that areas. And they gave information to other countries as espionage. And finally, the Revolutionary Guard, they just arrested him just because of that reason. And they just still continuing their activities with with anyone who is against them in those areas. But actually, I have to add this. I have to mention this end of my speech that after those arrests, after those arrests of 16 environmental activists, they were flying from Tehran to Yasuj with the airplane. And they all killed due to the plane crash. And now this question is raised in Iran. Is there any connection between the arrest of environmental activists and aircraft crash? Do the intelligence agencies such as the Revolutionary Guards want to eliminate a number of environmentalist activists to achieve their own goals? I thank you for the time that I could speak. Thank you.